what people, I mean, I just have to come out and say it. People are just so appallingly ignorant. It's just, there is so much dross and chaff out there. You know, people's minds are just, they're burnt. They really are burnt. These people are operating with burnt brains. I mean, that's the only way I can say it. I can't be nice about it. And I just want to just distance myself as much as possible from all of this. And that's about as honest as I can be about it. Because the level of ignorance that people have come to, they really do deserve what they have, and they really do deserve what's coming. The problem I have with it all is that there is a smaller segment of people who don't deserve what's coming. They don't deserve to go through the kind of suffering that we're going to witness in our lifetimes, because they do understand freedom and they do understand the causal factors that are taking place. And that's the reason I continue to put out information. I'm not giving up by any stretch of the imagination. I'm transitioning to a different level of focus and to do something that is a little bit more targeted and is just out there for people who want it. And hopefully people will appreciate that. And if they do, that's great. And another thing I'm going to talk about is a little bit later in the show is people who really aren't doing that much. You know, I want to get back into taking action, which is going to be a theme for today's show. And doing it in a way that you are making some sort of an impact and not just pointing fingers at other people and being an armchair quarterback. So that having been said, let's look at some changes that I also made to the whatonearthishappening.com website over the last week. Of course, since I'm not doing the radio show live, there is no radio show page anymore on the whatonearthishappening.com website. There's also no chat room, and this goes hand in hand with how I'm simply pulling back from interaction with the public. I feel that the public in general, and again, people who do understand should not take offense by this statement, who do have a real inkling of what's going on in the world. The public is so unfathomably ignorant, and the people who come, some of the people who come in the chat room are such, I mean, the only way to even say this is they're animals. They're not even human beings. They're animals. The racism is rampant in a lot of these people's mindset. They totally fall for the divide and conquer ideology, the divide and conquer manipulatory tactic, the method of control. They're totally caught up in the dialectic, and they're degenerated animals. They're not even humans as far as I'm concerned. And yet you do have some people who also come in and really understand and want to have a legitimate discussion. But in all honesty, it's just like the effort for even making a chat room like that. Not that I hand coded it myself, but to even go onto the site, sign up for an account, set up the chat room, you know, find a plugin for my site and post it. It's not even worth it for the kind of content that goes through that forum, that medium. It's not worth it. It's just, it's a mudslinging fest usually in there, and 90% of the people who go in there have absolutely no clue what is going on the earth at all. And the things that they say, and, you know, again, people who they blame, they really, really have their head so far up their ass that they may never get it out, you know, to be just completely honest and wicked about it, because it's just the truth. Their owners are laughing at them so hard that I'm telling you, these people are probably responsible for the largest proportions of sales of adult diapers throughout the world than anyone else, because that's how much the real owners of the people of this world are laughing, that they're just absolutely wetting themselves. Absolutely. and just looking at what they say, and just, where they have been able to work their minds into the place that the manipulators of this world have been able to work the minds of some of the idiots of this world into, all they can do is laugh their asses off to a point where they're wetting themselves. So, I mean, that's all. I don't even have any other words to say what I think of what I have seen going on in different chats, including my own, over the last few months. And people will say, oh, you're falling into the whole thing. Oh, these are just shills. These are hired people to go in and say this stuff. What's the difference? There's still people who actually are willing to do that, who don't care about what the world is, who don't care about what's going on around them. And they'll take money to go in and try to create opposition inside a chat room of a show that's trying to explain something that's really taking place. What's the difference whether that person's paid to do it or not? Or is just a complete clown idiot that actually believes the nonsense that they spew? To me, there's no real difference between those two things. It's still the same end result. Somebody's still doing that action. So, is it disheartening? I think that it is, because it just shows you how destroyed people are. They're so mentally and spiritually destroyed and degenerated. It's just unfathomable to me that this is still where we are in the age of total information. We are in an age where information is at everyone's fingertips, and they actually act like degenerated animals. It's so sad that, and they don't even understand they're the ones who are keeping the prison going. Their ignorance is actually keeping the prison going. They don't care that they're slaves. They love it. They love being slaves. They love it. They can't get enough of it. They can't get enough lies. They can't get enough disinformation. They can't get enough slavery. They love the word troll is very appropriate because it's this degenerated, loathsome, retarded creature that is just so, they're just such a golem husk, that's what their owners just call them, the dead and the golems. That's what they refer to these things as. I don't even want to call them people, they're things. Okay, and people say, man, I mean, you're so harsh, it's such, vicious criticism. Yes, it is. It's wicked, bitter criticism. It's called vitriol. Vitriol. V-I-T-R-I-O-L. Vitriol. As in vitriolic. And I was briefly letting people know a couple of weeks ago that vitriol is actually an anagram in the alchemical tradition. So, visita interiore terrae rectificando inviens occultum lapidem. The translation of this out of the original Latin from the alchemical tradition is visit the interior of the earth, and through rectification you will find the hidden stone. Okay, or by way of making this upright again, rectification, you will find the hidden stone. You will uncover the hidden stone. Visit the interior of the earth, and through rectification you will discover the hidden stone, from the alchemical tradition. And this means that you need to start looking at yourself. You need to look inwardly to understand what's really controlling things. What's really going on in the world is a direct result, is an outward manifestation of what's taking place within each individual. And the only way to really understand the causal factors of our experience in the external reality, we have to go within, and there we will find that generative force, because it is ultimately coming from us. And I did a show with Bob from Cincinnati on alchemy. I don't know if we got into vitriol. I may have gotten into this little anagrammatic saying on that show. I can't quite recall whether I did or not, but if you want to listen to more about the alchemical tradition, I suggest going back in the news section and checking that out. Maybe I'll do a show in the future on alchemy right here on What on Earth is Happening. But in the English language, derived from the Latin vitriolum, and that meant an acid, like a very strong acid, like hydrochloric acid or something like that, I believe is what that meant in Latin. But the English word that is derived from the Latin vitriolum is vitriol, and it means vicious or bitter criticism, acidic, biting speech, okay? Very acidic speech. So I use vitriol all the time. I don't apologize for my use of vitriol. Acidic speech is there to wear down the lie and show people the lie is something that should not be respected at all. And anybody who backs it up, anybody who reinforces it, this isn't, this whole New Age garbage, this New Age deception of we have to put it in sweet, pleasing tones, okay? And if you get angry about anything, it invalidates the argument. This is such nonsense. It's such nonsense. And we just really need to understand that the veracity of information has nothing to do with how it is delivered. And look, I just want to even just give a example that probably will not be received very positively by many people, and I don't care whether it is or not. See, it's your karma whether you will take information that is true and do something with it. That has nothing to do with who said it to you. Their karma is that they have said it, and that it was accurate and it was true, and they passed it along. They don't need to put it in some pleasing tone that resonates with your emotional state of mind, that resonates with how you like something to sound. Because liars are all too willing to tell you a lie and make it sound so beautiful and wonderful and put it in sweet, pleasing tones. This is what the media does, the mainstream media does all the time. They wrap everything in, such pleasant speech. We're going to talk with this nice cadence, and we're going to tell you a whole bunch of lies. But we'll make it sound wonderful and attractive to you. Look, the example that I think immediately comes to mind to me is Alex Jones' appearance on Piers Morgan a few weeks back, a couple weeks ago. People got so upset. He got angry and yelled and, even mocked Piers, and he comes off as looking like an idiot. Everything Alex said on the show was accurate. He was telling people the truth about what's really happening. If you don't like the way he said it, that doesn't invalidate or negate what he said. And guess what? You should stop making excuses for anybody who does think that way. Therein lies the problem. The problem is that people will listen to a lie if it's presented so beautifully. And I wouldn't suggest falling for that, going, to do that. I wouldn't say, well, since that's what they are responsive to, go and do that. Be as nice and pleasing and pleasant to them as possible. Wrong. They need to be snapped out of that mindset itself to be recognized. That's mind control. It's more than mind control. It's more insidious than mind control. It's what I've called heart control. It's emotional mind control. They're playing upon how a tone makes you feel, how a person's voice makes you feel. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to tell you the truth. The truth doesn't have to make you feel good to be true. I don't need to present it in sweet, pleasing tones so that you feel good. Once again, folks, this all comes down to the two kinds of people in the world. that are really ultimately causing the problem. And no, it's not the dark occultists. No, it's not the globalists. No, it's not the super financial elite. Okay? It is the two real groups of people, besides the police and military, or the order followers who are actually following the bidding, the orders of the sick, psychopathic, occult priest class that is really running the show, or at least barking out the orders. The two groups of people who are really making this situation continue are the 100% appallingly ignorant. The people who, it doesn't matter how much information is out there, they don't want to hear it, they don't want to know about it, they can't be bothered. Okay? Willful ignorance of truth. And the other group is what I call the semi-aware armchair quarterbacks. So we can, let's even have a little acronym for them, okay? The appallingly ignorant, they're the AI. They're not the artificially intelligent. They're not artificial intelligence. They have no intelligence. They're the appallingly ignorant. They're the AI. You want to know what AI, what form of AI is destroying the world? There it is, the appallingly ignorant. Then let's give another little acronym for the semi-aware armchair quarterbacks. Well, we'll hyphenate semi-aware armchair quarterbacks, the SACs. And what are they SACs of? Use your imagination. Okay, I'm sure you can come up with something. But they're the SACs. So the AI and the SACs are the ones who are really causing the overall problem and the continuance of human slavery. Because these are either people that can't be bothered to look at truth, or they're people who, you know, they've gotten a little bit of the picture, but then what they want to do is point fingers. They want to point fingers about how other people aren't doing a good enough job. Or I would have covered it like this. Or I would have got angry and you know, used any harsh inflection in my voice here. Yeah, but here's the key word here, people. You would have. You didn't do it. You're saying you would have, but what's happened in actuality? See, the actual action that you took was nil, was null, was big goose egg, zero, null and void. Okay? And this is the problem, that everybody wants to talk about what somebody else is doing or not doing. But when it comes to them actually doing something, please, we can't be bothered with that. I can't actually get on the field of battle. I have to sit here on the sidelines and be an armchair quarterback. And these are the people who are actually really keeping the world in the total state of ignorance and slavery that it does exist in. And that's why I say that, you know, a big portion of the podcast today is going to be vitriolic. Am I making attacks? Yes, I'm making attacks. Are they personal attacks? Well, I would say they're semi-personal, yes. Okay? Because I'm directing them in general at a type of person. I'm not going to single out any one individual person, but I'm going to say the people who are ignorant and the other group that is semi-aware, who just wants to sit around and say and comment on what other people are doing. My entire question or series of questions to them are the following. Here's what I ask people. And you know, I actually sent out this series of questions to several individuals over the past couple of weeks. Not just one, not just two, several. Who wrote to me to suggest that I do things differently, or that I, they don't like the way I'm doing this or that, or they are nitpicking about this particular aspect of what I said, or, you know, this piece of information that they don't find is exactly accurate. And what I write back to people like that, first of all, you can go and look every time, every single time you get somebody who's a complainer. You will go and look. You can take their name their email address. You put it into a search engine. That's one of the first things I do. Let me see what this person's actually about. Let me see what they've done. And you know what you find every time? Not just some of the time. All of the time. 100% of the time. It's almost impossible to find anything about them online. There is no record. You can't type their name, even in double quotes. Like, to find a phrase in an internet search engine, you type it inside double quotes. Okay? And it'll bring back pages that it has to have those two words together. So, like first and last name, if you type Mark Passio without the double quotes wrapping it, you'll get a lot more results than you will if you type Mark Passio inside double quotes, because those two things, those two phrases, those two words, have to appear exactly together as a phrase. So you'll know that those pages contain something about me if you type it in double quotes into an internet search engine. Well, you do this with other people's first and last names, and you get nothing. Nothing. These complainers, these nitpickers, they want to sit and complain, and they've done nothing. So I write to them and I say, I would like you, I'm very happy to answer your question, okay, about what you nitpick about, but I would like you to tell me the address of your monstrous website that's packed with so much information, total gems of wisdom, and it can totally help to liberate humanity. It's getting to the very crux of the issue, to the heart of the matter, and the taking in of this information that you have so freely and of your own accord put out there for humanity is capable of liberating humanity if it is deeply understood. Where's your track record? Where is your testimony? Where is your site? Okay? Or even barring that you have a site, how about radio interviews or podcasts that you've done with other hosts or that you've put together yourself? Okay? Even if you don't have your own site, where's your radio show? Do you have a radio show on Blog Talk Radio or Talk Shoe Network, or, you know, someplace, or even a blog on Blogspot or something? Okay? Where is the testimony of all the information that you're putting forward for other people to pick up on so that it can help them change their lives? And again, people can say, well, I'm doing that in my own life. Well, guess what? If you're not using the availability of information that can get the information out to as many people as possible, you're still not really putting the information out there. If you don't have a website, a podcast, a book, going on other radio shows, some form of media that is preservable, that can be put out there or given to other people, easily handed to them. You know, you could put a podcast on a disc, hand it to somebody. You could put it on a thumb drive or on a hard drive. Okay? Where is this for other people? What have you actually put into the world? Giving freely of your time and your resources to explain things like the non-aggression principles, the principles of self-ownership, natural law, true freedom, what it really is, mind control and how it operates. You know, where is all that data that you're putting out there it's so drastically different from mine and I'm so wrong, or it gets the parts totally right that I get wrong or that other researchers get wrong? Here's the point. The point is, what are you doing? What are you doing? What you're doing is you're writing to somebody to nitpick about something instead of actually doing something that is effective in helping people to understand that we're enslaved. I mean, you look at the actual situation, folks. There's slavery operating on the earth. You're in it. You're ensconced in it. It is affecting you. You are not separate from it. And what you want to do is go and attack one of the other people who are being kept in this same state of slavery? They have us all in a cage, and you want to go and attack the other prisoners instead of actually work toward real liberation. And this is why I need to separate myself and take a step back and refocus my efforts. Not redouble them, but just refocus them. I need to take a step back because I have to ask myself, what kind of an effect is what I'm doing really, truly having? If this is where people's mindset still is, what effect is anything that anybody's putting out there really having? And my answer is not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. Their minds are still wholly owned, and the owners have them where they want them. It doesn't have to be like that, but that's what they're choosing for some strange reason. Let me get back into some of the things I write to people, and it's vitriolic. It's bitter. It's nasty. I'm not telling you that I'm always a very nice person. I never made the statement I was always a very nice person. I could be crude to people. That doesn't mean I don't understand the non-aggression principle. That doesn't mean that I don't understand true freedom. Okay? It means people can still piss me off and make me think, my God, we are totally and utterly doomed if this is the quality of people that's even remotely interested in any of these things. We are doomed if that's the case.